Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Riza. Please hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already because it really does help a lot. Today we are going to be doing the top 10 Disneyland hacks of all time that everyone needs to know before going to the parks. So, let's get started. You're a dick. You're a dick. Say hi, Dexter. Coming in at number 10 is use crowd calendars and crowd trackers. My favorite crowd tracker of all time is isitpacked.com. My family and I have been using it, I think, since its launch. Basically, a crowd tracker like isitpacked.com not only tracks the crowds as the day goes along in 4 different categories, but it also tracks the upcoming days throughout the entire year. So if you're planning a Disneyland trip in October and you want to plan it for July, they will have the estimated crowd calendar of how crowded it is going to be on the days that you are planning on going. Personally, usually my mom and I will not go on the days that it says forget about it, which is the busiest out of them all, because in the past that has been, I think it's 85% capacity and up. There are 4 categories though. It's a ghost town, which basically is usually saved for really off-season days and rainy days, holidays sometimes, depending on the holiday, stuff like that. There is Hey, It's All Right, which is, yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be 45% capacity. Not that bad. It's less than 50. You can still walk around without being shoulder to shoulder with everyone. Yup, It's Packed it's going to be a normal busy day that Disneyland would be when you would expect to go. It's not going to be extremely overly crowded, and it's also not going to be empty. It's a good medium between super packed and you can walk around freely. It's going to be a little bit tighter, but it's still very manageable. My mom and I usually, or me personally, I will usually only go if it says Hey, It's All Right or Ghost Town, unless I'm under a time constraint. So if I am only in town for spring break, it doesn't matter what my crowd calendar says, I'm gonna go almost every day of spring break, obviously, so I can get use of my Disneyland pass while I'm in town. Number 9 is to do your research on the Magic Morning days. If you are planning on going to Disneyland and you are not a regular there and you don't already know all the Magic Morning days by heart, then you need to do the research and look up Magic Morning days. For those of you who don't know, the Magic Morning days are meant for either the SoCal Pass residents or the hotel guests. Magic Morning basically just means that they open up the park an hour early just for hotel guests. If you get there when park opens on a Magic Morning day, it's already going to be fairly crowded. So when I go, I usually prefer to avoid the Magic Morning days, especially if I'm planning on getting there by rope drop, because it just saves the hassle of having to deal with extra times and extra waiting. Because when you get to Disney first thing in the morning, you want it to be empty, and the purpose of getting there that early is to get on as many rides as you can. Try and avoid Magic Mornings if you possibly can, unless you're a SoCal resident, or obviously if you're someone who's living in the hotel, then take advantage of the Magic Mornings. Number 8 kind of ties in with number 9 is get to the parks as early as you can. And yes, I am talking to you people who do not like waking up early to go to the parks. I have friends that have had passes as long as I have that usually don't get to the parks until noon, 1:30, and they only stay for an hour because they get so annoyed with how busy it is. We have had a couple of instances where we show up late accidentally because of traffic or something, so you have to give yourself a little bit more leeway with that, especially if you are a California resident and you live more than an hour away, because there will be traffic coming either way. My mom and I, when we go together, usually like to get there at least 45 minutes before the park opens, especially with Galaxy's Edge opening and with Rise of the Resistance opening. Since Rise of the Resistance opening, my mom and I have actually gotten there over an hour before the park actually opened. So because when you get there, at least before COVID, when you got there, the trams would take forever. Usually my mom and I wouldn't take the trams. We would walk through the Mickey and Friends parking structure over to downtown Disney and in from there, which is a lot less crowded, and that is going to be a secret hack that I will tell you about later. But it is still going to be very busy to try and get in, even an hour and a half, 2 hours before the park opens with Rise of the Resistance. So my advice to you guys is get there as early as you possibly can. Now, I'm not saying get there at 3 in the morning, because the parking structures aren't even open, and that's kind of ridiculous. I'm I'm saying if the park opens at 8, maybe get there at 7 or 6:45. You know what I mean? Because especially with Rise of the Resistance, and as soon as everything goes back to normal, everyone is going to want to go to the parks. So you guys have to keep in mind that because of everything that's happening, especially annual pass holders are really antsy to get back into the Disney parks. Number 7 is kind of a 2-in-1. It is download the Disneyland app and get the Max Pass. The Max Pass is only $15 more for a regular one-day ticket, and even like for multiple day tickets, I think it's only still a $15 extra fee. Invest in a Max Pass, you guys. It will save so much time and it will save so much energy of you guys having to run back and forth all over the parks just to get a Fast Pass. First of all, the paper Fast Passes are not very handy anymore, especially when so many people are using the My Disneyland app. Max Pass just is so much easier. So like if you really want to ride Space Mountain and you're in New Orleans Square and you have an available Fast Pass that you can make for Space Mountain in an hour, then you can make it at New Orleans Square on your phone. When if you don't have a Max Pass, you have to send someone to actually go get your Fast Passes, which can be kind of a downer if everyone in your party really likes to ride all the rides and really likes to do everything and be as inclusive as possible. That is probably my top tip ever, is to get the Max Pass, because it will save so much time and energy on your part. Number 6 is kind of tied into number 7. If you do not have a Max Pass, have one designated person in your group to do all of the Fast Pass runs. Usually this person was the person in the group that doesn't like to ride a bunch of rides or that doesn't like to be in inclusive shows or something like that. So in the case of you do not have a Max Pass, have one set person in your party that is in charge of getting all of your Fast Passes, and keep all of your tickets, your day tickets, with that person. So you don't have to struggle really quickly. Oh, here's my ticket, here's my ticket, here's my ticket, because that is just one way of losing it, and then you're going to be screwed. Something else to tie in with Fast Passes, whether you have a Max Pass or not, is the 2-hour rule. So let's say, especially for super busy rides, let's say you get a Fast Pass for Radiator Springs Racers and it ends up not being until 4 p.m. and you got it at 8 a.m., 9 a.m. They have what they call the 2-hour rule, which is 2 hours after you get that Fast Pass, whether you have ridden the ride or not yet, you will be able to get another Fast Pass. Of course, if your Fast Pass is for an hour away, then as soon as that Fast Pass entry time will open up, then you can get another Fast Pass for a different ride. Basically, what I would do is I will go on my phone and I will Fast Pass it and I'll go on it, because usually the Fast Pass times for Astro Blasters is like no more than 20 minutes away from when you actually select the Fast Pass. So I'll go on it and then I'll usually wait in line, and then my Fast Pass will be ready and I'll Fast Pass it again, and it'll just be like a loop. And I'll do literally the same ride over and over and over again, trying to beat my high score at least 6 times. I usually only do that when I'm by myself, but that I go to the parks by myself all the time, so that is why I do that. The 2-hour rule is something very important that you should remember, is no matter how long of a wait it is for your Fast Pass to get there, after 2 hours you are available to get another Fast Pass, whether you have been on the ride or not. Number 5 is Tomorrowland is usually the busiest in the park, so I always hit that first. Some people always have a very specific route that they go to. Before Galaxy's Edge opened, mine was always Tomorrowland, and then Adventureland, and then New Orleans Square, and then Frontierland, and then Fantasyland, which kind of like bounced literally all over the place. I have friends that like to go in a circle, and I have friends that like to go the opposite way. The bad part about going the opposite way is that I think Adventureland and Frontierland usually don't open until after Tomorrowland and Fantasyland do. Since Galaxy's Edge opened though, my mom and I will usually always go to Galaxy's Edge first. We will get a Rise of the Resistance pass, and then we will go on Smuggler's Run, either single rider or together depending on how long the wait is, and then from there we will get a Fast Pass for Space Mountain, go on single rider on that, and go as we wish around the park from there. If you have not been to the park since Galaxy's Edge opened, I 20 out of 10 always go to Galaxy's Edge first, because it will be the first to fill up, and Smuggler's Run, after at least like not even like 20 minutes through the start of the day, the line will be like an hour and a half to 2 hours. Number 4 is to download apps to play while you're in line, especially if you have kids with you guys. My mom and I splurged and bought a $2 app, which is called Heads Up, which I'm pretty sure like a good chunk of people who are Disney people have. And it's basically, you like put it here and someone's with you and they have to act out the charade of whatever it is, and like down for it's correct and up for pass or something like that. And it gives you like a 1.5 minute, 2 minute time slot, I think, to get as many as you can done, and then you rotate. Another thing that I really recommend getting, especially if you have the My Disneyland app, is the Play Disney app. In my phone, I have an entire folder of all of the Disney apps that I use. It's so bright, there's like such a glare, on a regular basis. I have 4 right now. I used to have 7, but I realized that since I have the Play Disney app, the Wait Times app, and the Disneyland app, I don't really feel the need to have the other ones. The Wait Times app kind of connects with the very first tip I did, number 10, which is use a crowd calendar. The Wait Times app is a guest ran app that guests can go in and update the ride wait times, because sometimes the Disneyland app will lag if, you know, the cast members don't put it into their system quick enough, or this and that and the other. So I usually check both and compare. So yeah, I recommend getting Heads Up. I recommend getting a game that you can play where you don't need to have any signal, because in rides like Soarin' Over California or Indiana Jones or Haunted Mansion, you're going to be underground most of the time, so you're not going to be able to have service. I also am that person though that will bring homework to the park and do homework while I'm in line, so it's up to you. If that's what you want to do rather than playing a mindless game on your phone, then go for it, because I do the same thing. If not, and you want to bring a book, but do something that is going to occupy you in line. Number 3 is if you have seen the parades before, if you've seen the fireworks before, if you've seen Fantasmic before, skip it all and go ride rides during those times, because they will be the least amount of lines possible. I took my best friend for our senior trip to Disneyland, and she wanted to see World of Color instead of the fireworks. We got fast passes to see World of Color, and then World of Color is fairly early. I think it's at like 8 p.m. and then DCA closes, and then Disneyland is open till like 11. So we did that, and then we went over to Disneyland, and we were able to skip Fantasmic and skip the fireworks and skip the last parade and just go on rides. Even still, on a lot of rides, especially like Big Thunder Mountain, you can see a very clear view of the fireworks. So there really isn't a need to see the fireworks if you've seen them 100 times. I know it's awesome and I know it's great to see them, but it's just, if you've seen the same fireworks show 15 times, especially if you are an annual pass holder or a cast member, there's no need to see it again when you could be riding rides in the same amount of time and be getting so much done. Then again, if you are on a single day trip and you live fairly far away and you don't come to the parks very often, by all means, watch the fireworks, watch one of the parades, watch Fantasmic. You will love it. But for those of us who have already seen everything many a time, do a ride instead. Number 2 is specifically for DCA, and this is because I go to DCA literally all the time and I love it. You know, Southern California, it's more than likely going to be pretty warm when you're at Disneyland, other than when it's raining. So when it is really warm and you want to escape from the heat because it's hot and you want to escape from the heat, go to either the Animation Academy, which has a ton of seating area that is usually open. They have Turtle Talk with Crush, which is a cute little interactive show between Crush the turtle from Finding Nemo and yourself. They have Elsa and Anna meet and greets. They have the Animation Academy, which is my mom's and my favorite thing. I also mentioned the Animation Academy in my top 10 ways to bring Disneyland home with you. So if you haven't already watched that, please go check it out. I will put it in the link below. Another place that you could go to is ride the Mike and Sully's Adventures, which is also on Hollywood Boulevard. For those of you who don't know, before it was Mike and Sully's, it was, I think it was Superstar Limo. We don't talk about it. Tragic. Terrible ride. But I will cover that whole issue in a future video, I promise. Number 1 is to either go on a Wednesday or a Thursday, you guys. So Wednesdays and Thursdays usually are the least busy days of the week to go to the Disney parks, because that is, you know, hump day and the day after, so everyone's working. Friday, everyone's preparing for the weekend, so people who are taking a weekend trip to Disney will usually leave Friday and go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. People who are starting at the weekend will usually go Saturday, Sunday, Monday, or Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So Wednesday and Thursdays are usually the best crowd counts to go, depending on the season. Over the summer, every day is going to be busy. Christmas time, every day is going to be busy, and that's just how it is. And being someone who loves Disney, you will appreciate that it's really busy. You will also get very annoyed that it's very busy, but it is what it is, and you guys, everyone just has to live with it and hope for the best. A couple of bonus ones for you guys is when you get to the park, walk. Like, especially if you're parking in Mickey and Friends parking structure, don't take the tram. Unless you're physically unable to walk, don't take the tram. Take the walk from the parking structure to downtown Disney. It is going to be much less crowded. It's a beautiful walk, even if it's 90 degrees outside, it's gorgeous. They usually will have misters set up over there that you can walk under. So super pretty. It shows you all the way from the very back of downtown Disney all the way to the front of Disneyland. It's gorgeous, it's amazing. do it. Another one is when you do show up to the front of Disneyland and you are looking at all the lines and all the lines look so busy, either go to the left or in the center. And I don't mean like left, like shift a little bit. I mean the very far left. Most people are right-handed, so it is a natural reaction for people who are right-handed to go to the right side. So usually the right side and center right is going to be much busier than straight center and on the left. The reason why the center is usually the least crowded out of all of them is because people always think we have to go to one side or we have to go to the other, and usually the center is kind of mixed in the middle and isn't really seen as a line. So use the center. If it's the least amount busy, use the center because it will get you in so much quicker. The last bonus hack that I have for you guys is to go in the rain. It does not rain much in Southern California, and when it does, no one wants to go to Disneyland because for some reason Californians are like scared of the rain and like they think that it's the end of the world every time it rains. I'm not really sure. I'm born and raised in Southern California and I love the rain. Go in the rain. It will always be a ghost town. Always, always, always. Even if it doesn't say it's going to be a ghost town, it will be. I promise. Go in the rain. Usually the only people that dare to go in the rain are people that don't really have a choice, that live out of state and that like purposefully bought their tickets for that day. Very serious annual pass holders that just don't care. Going in the rain is so much more fun because it's empty. You can like put your arms straight out and like skip around in circles and you won't run into anyone. Go in the rain. Everything in this video I will put in the description down below that I can. Okay, you guys, that is going to be it for today's video. If you really like this content, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up. For the few things that I did have a possible description for, I will put the links and anything else that I need in the description below. If you don't already, please hit that subscribe button down below and click the all on the notifications bell so you can get all the notifications rather than just one or the other. If you haven't already checked out my other Disney themed videos, go to my channel and check those out because I love making Disney videos. Disney is my passion, it is my safe space, and I absolutely love sharing that with you guys. Fair warning, these next few videos are going to be kind of hectic because I'm going to be traveling a lot. I am going home to San Diego tomorrow, and then from there I am going to Minnesota in 2 days, and then from there I'm going to college, and so it's gonna be kind of hectic and we're gonna be changing up spaces a lot and doing a lot of vlogging stuff, but it's going to be fun, so stay tuned for a lot of that. If you don't already follow my socials, go ahead and follow my socials. Those will also be in the description and on my homepage like always. Well, as of right now, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.